Boy, is it good to see you guys. I wanted to squeeze in a video, and that's exactly what I am doing. Friday night, I was in Austin, where Bob Wills is still the king, for Austin FC Pumas in Leagues Cup. I got Leagues Cup duty with Brian Dunseth. I'm doing this now on a Saturday, jumping on a flight to Portland in an hour or so for Portland Club Leon. I'm enjoying these games. I know not all Leagues Cup games are enthralling. Certainly the ones between Mexico and MLS have the potential to do that. They're better attended. I get it. I am into it. I hope you can jump in there as well and give it a taste. I am aware that it's not everyone's cup of tea. There are some supporter groups out there which I highly respect for your conviction. If that's something you believe in and you don't want to attend a game, and by the way, I feel bad for anyone who didn't attend the Austin game, even though it looked pretty full, to miss something like that, especially if you're an Austin supporter. But I respect the stance, and you get to do whatever you want. That's the beautiful thing about a fan. But, and I'm not saying this supporter group saying this, but I've seen this on social media. When you start telling people what games they can see, I got a problem with that. Whoever's out there, you have so many options when it comes to watching soccer. You have so many options, an embarrassment of options. You get to pick what you want to see. You have leagues, etc., whatever. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot see. That is your choice. If you have conviction that you don't want to see something, by all means, and I respect that. But I believe in this, and you got to believe it too. So, that's been floating around a fair bit. It's an echo chamber of complaints. I get it. I complain too. We are here. By the way, I made the rounds for some things that I said. Other YouTube channels talking about little old me. Right at the top of the shows to get to get that ratings bump. I should get some royalty for this. Because of things that may not agree with, and I'm all for that in discourse. And I love people talking about me. If they're not talking about you, then they don't care. But they are. One gentleman went so far to say I should have his take. My take was so bad that I'm having some sort of interactions with a certain gentleman. Not my thing. If it's your thing, by all means. I don't judge here. I want everyone to be happy. But anyway, quite an interesting delivery. But I just want to have a candid conversation because we have discourse. And we're all wrong and we're all right. I'm wrong my fair amount of times. I am right most of the times. And I'll tell you how I know. Because I've been doing this for 30 years. Hold on. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've worked everywhere. Big companies, small companies. Uninterrupted. On soccer, which was not an industry when I started. And I've kept it on. And I think in order to do that, you've got to be right more often than you're wrong. Very few have lasted as long as I have. Still going strong. I'm not just trying to put myself over. But, there's a little respect there that is required. And I just want to, everyone's opinion matters. Well, let's rephrase that. Everyone is due to their opinion. I hope it's well thought out. And you take as much information as possible if you're going to put something out there. And with regards to, as I'm connected with Major League Soccer, it certainly is there. And we're talking about the Olympics tournament. And I'm going to get to USA New Zealand because it was a fantastic effort from the U.S. They're back on track. They should qualify for the quarterfinals after the victory over New Zealand. We'll get more into that. I had a tweet where I kind of defended Djordje Mihalovic because I felt he required some defending. And many people, he has been selected. You can argue this with you can argue as much as you want, but it's clear as day. There are players that get selected to be thrown over the ship, right? In this U.S. soccer universe, there are hand-picked players that are going to fall on the sword in some way, shape, or form. So, you get a lot of grief because you defend an MLS player. I want to preface this by saying that this Olympics team is 90% MLS players, current and past. And I don't want to patronize here, but do people believe that I love MLS. I work for MLS. I still call it as I see it. And I think you get that here on this channel if you want to look at all the receipts. But when a player leaves MLS, let's say it is Kevin Paredes or Ricardo Pepi, When a player leaves MLS, people in MLS celebrate that. When they go to Europe, that's a victory. That's great news for the league. That's money for American players that says the external market values MLS players. So that's a moment we celebrate. You think we're going, you better not leave. You better not leave, man. You've got a contract. I know, again, I don't want to sound like I'm talking down or anything, but it's like, do I have to say that? Because we celebrate that. And based on that, this Olympic team is 90% MLS. So we enjoy when they have that moment. Djordje Mihalovic, he is also, I get it, he is your prototypical American player. Works hard, coach's dream, can play multiple positions, will run till there's nothing left. Yeah, I get it. He is that. And that kind of represents an old era which we've kind of gone away from, which we want to get away from because we want to be a more technical squad. We still need those players, but he's more than that. I mean, we kind of saw that. He has a beautiful right foot that can get balls in on corner kicks, free kicks. So he's more than just that prototypical player. We've seen this in the past. Miles Robinson, look, if he makes a bad pass, this is how this social media thing works. Or let's talk about, he took a penalty against New Zealand. What would have happened if he missed that penalty? Let's be honest here. You know what would have happened? Knives. Burn him! What if it was Gianluca Busio missing that penalty? Crickets. Seriously. There are ones who get criticized, and there are ones who are not. And with regards to, by the way, Gianluca Busio, he got a goal, but I mean, he had a horrible miss. There's no criticism. On the goal, he had a horrible miss before he scored. Anyhow, I don't want to separate these players. I want them all to do well. And I want us to be, real when we talk about it. Because this is the thing. I don't bring a perception or a pre-existing idea about these players. I didn't judge about the France game. I watched it again in the morning, focused on it. I was like, what? Why is... a lot of people agree with me about Djordje Mihalovic. That he did a lot in the role that he was afforded. So, not great, but solid. And he played pretty well against New Zealand. But I just say this because when you come in with the perception on a player and your fuse is this short with criticism, I'm going to win that argument. Because what we have seen in the Copa America and so many other tournaments, we shouldn't give any player a short fuse, or we should. No, we shouldn't, but the possibility that is, well, everyone has played below par. This hasn't been a good performance. Based on the Copa America, we could talk about Chris Richards or Cameron Carter-Vickers or Johnny Cardoso. None of those guys played at a level where you can go, okay, great. Everyone should be on check, not just a select few players. So there you have it. Let's celebrate these guys because I think they might do something special here. They're going to make the quarterfinals. This was pretty special against New Zealand. I know it was New Zealand, but they won a game already in this competition, and we scored 4 goals. We haven't done that in an Olympic Games. We haven't scored in, 16 years or what have you. So that was a big performance. It was beautiful to watch. And I think they can get that play in with opponents in their future. Obviously, France, they played it very differently. It was a medium block. They didn't have their foot on the pedal. They didn't get set pieces. They got all of that here against a weaker opponent. And they'll face a weaker opponent in Guinea, and I think they break it through. Djordje Mihalovic is the sum of the parts. Some good performances with Kevin Paredes, Paxton Aronson. One guy, though, and I think we've all seen it, just stands above all others, and it's Tanner Tessmann. Tanner Tessmann, this is his team at the end of the day. Plays at Venezia. He's going to play for a bigger club. Inter have been interested. He is just a monster. And if you see him, he's huge. He plays the number 6, which is the position he should play because number 10s do not want to tangle up with a guy like that. He is special. He is a special, special player. Wins balls, chases after it. His passing distribution will get better. And when it does, we're talking about a global talent. I'm telling you. Tanner Tessmann's here. Kevin Paredes, Paxton Aronson, a few others. And then, but this is Tanner Tessmann's team. And I wouldn't bet against him taking them pretty far. When you look at the bracket, they're going to finish second. They're not going to finish ahead of France, who've won their first 2 games, unless something peculiar happens. It would appear they'd probably play Argentina in the quarterfinals, the winner of Group B, although Group B is wacky. Everyone's won a game, but I would think Argentina wins it. USA finishes second. Argentina would be favored in that game. We will talk about it as we get closer. But this U.S. team has really shown they have something. I also want to say something else, because the argument to Georgi Mihalovic and Taylor Booth and Griffin Yao is when they come in, they look so good. This is, again, I don't want to patronize, but this is what happens in sports. When you're up 3 goals and you've run a team ragged, they're going to be tired. So when the subs come in, they're going to have a decisive edge with their fresh legs. So those guys look pretty good. Taylor Booth, his day will come, but we compare him to Mihalovic. What has Taylor Booth done? What are we judging this against? His day will come. It hasn't happened. It'll start happening. We've talked about young players in the past for the U.S. They've had their moment. They had their moment at the Copa America. It didn't go well, so we have to look at everything. So let's celebrate the team. They're doing well. They're doing well, and let's see if they can get through. They will play on Tuesday against Guinea, get that result, win that, get another 3-4 goals, and let's get ready. And maybe these Olympics will be a little bit more magical. The Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. Rate, review, download, subscribe, hit that button, do whatever is required, hit it, and we'll be back again. Olympics, baby!